Okay, ladies, well, thank you for joining our class today. And this is, of course, about the tricolor markers. The fun thing that I found with these, as you have obviously opened the package and looked, is in just one marker, you get 3 colors. So by you getting a package of 3 markers, you got 9 colors all at once for us to play with. So that helped the cost of the class, plus just made it a lot of fun. So what you want to have on hand, these are the 3 cards we're going to make. You, of course, want to have your markers, have your 2 stamp sets. I can separate them that I included, had to have those handy. You need an acrylic block that's at least the 3x4. If it's bigger, no problem. I'll show you how you can use that, but you want it to be at least 3x4. And then any kind of black ink to do your stamps with. I included a spritz bottle. What I liked, I know you guys have gotten this if you've done past classes, you've gotten a bigger one. What I love about this one is it's a fine mist, and you'll see how that's very helpful. And it will be helpful in future classes too that I have in mind. Have a little paintbrush handy and a cup of water. You're definitely going to need some kind of paper towels or rag. I've been using this microfiber cloth. I like it, but there's gonna be a lot of cleanup with this, so you want something handy. And I think that's all your supplies, so not too many this time. So I'm going to move these 2 cards away. We're going to do this one first, and I'm going to give you a little overview, and then we'll get started. So a couple of days ago, I started playing again because this had been a few weeks since I did the samples. I'm like, how did I do that? So I wanted to play. So I'm just going to show you. This is one. These are a couple that I did, and see how it's real splotchy. I didn't put enough water. So if you love this look, then just put a little less water than I'm going to do. But if you're not, I'm still going to use these as card bases. I'm not going to waste them, but I prefer, it to be a little bit more solid. And so after we do one, you're going to have some ink left over. And Heather taught me that we don't want to waste ink. So what we'll do is take another piece of paper if you want and kind of sop up the leftover ink. It's obviously much lighter, but hey, why waste it? So that's what I did, a couple of these, which that reminds me, you of course want to have your paper. So I went ahead and cut up, I included 3 in your kit. I cut up 2 of the watercolor paper. It has a texture, plus it's a little bit grayish color. So that's your watercolor paper. So I wanted to have a bunch on hand. You might want to do that if you haven't done it yet. Have extra on hand. The first couple, you might not like how it looks. You might want to redo it. So I had a bunch on hand. And then you have the regular white paper. You only need 1 for the class, but again, you might want to have a couple extra in case you're not happy with it. And then of course have your black backgrounds, ready as well. And your card bases, obviously have at least 3 on hand for you. Okay, so let's get started. So here's what we're going to do. So you're going to take your acrylic block. We're going to smear some colors on here. Then you're going to spritz it with water. And then what we're going to do is take the paper, put it on top, and then kind of grab. Oh, that's easier said than done. When it's wet, it's easier. Then you're going to grab this, flip it over, and you'll see the colors, and it makes the ink not run as much. So it's kind of a little trick with that. So have your spritzer handy. Now, don't follow the colors on here. This one turned out great. Then when I was practicing the other day, let me show you. Which one did I do? Okay, where's my little... Well, as you can see a little bit, the purple next to the yellow, it just turns muddy, as Tim Holtz would say. So I'm going to switch the color scheme. So we're going to start off with pink. Doesn't matter. I know there's 2 pinks in there. Oh, no, there isn't. Never mind. That's purple. So to start off with the pink, and at the top, there's no perfectness to this. You're just going to kind of smear some pink on here. Probably put a little bit more. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we're using the watercolor paper. Yes, thank you, Lenore. So you're going to need the watercolor paper for this one. Okay, so pink, purple. And if you like a color more than another, you can do extra. Now, don't do the yellow that my card is. We're going to skip to blue. I did the middle blue, but you can do whatever blue you want. I just love teal, so I did the blue. Then we're going to do green. I picked the middle one, the sage, because I just like a brighter green. And then do the yellow. Okay, now I'm going to put my colors to the side. And then you're going to spritz it with water. I always turn the thing the wrong way, so just make sure you look at it before you spritz it. I don't know why. I'm always spraying it in my face. So kind of make sure you don't have anything, nearby. I'm already doing it. Spritz it where you kind of see the water start to move a little bit. Okay. Then take your paper, kind of tap it. Okay. Oh, I gotta move this, I guess. Now I just realized I have water all over so before I flip it over, I'm wiping that off. Okay. Ooh, this one's gonna kind of be fun. Every time you do this, it's gonna turn out different. So don't freak out. And then lift it up. Oh, see, I lifted it too quickly. But what I'm gonna do.
It looks awesome.
Looks okay. Well, it's a little smeary. Is then I'm gonna take my paintbrush. Each time, wet it and dry it. Otherwise, you'll mix your colors a lot. I'm gonna kind of just spread it out. And we all have different taste of what we like for looks. So. But this is watercolor paper, so you can, oh, that actually really does. I like that. That looks good. Yeah, I'm happier with that one than I've done in the past. And literally that's it. Don't move your paper around a lot. I'm okay with these little spots, but if you don't like that, you can, again, take your water, spread it all around. I'm okay with how this looks. I think that's going to be fun. But if you don't like that look, kind of spread that around. Yeah, and that's it. And then I put it to the side carefully to let it dry. Now, see how there's a lot left on here? Can you see that? No, I think you can. So I'm going to take another one of these, the watercolor paper. I am going to spray it just a little bit to make it easier to pick up. And then I'm going to, why can't I pick this up? Okay, I smeared a lot. I'll wipe this again. And then you can hold the block there for a little bit. It really makes the color saturate in the paper. And then pick it up. Now let me do my water little thing again. Yeah, I mean, there's not much color on here, but it'll still be pretty. Watercolors, I'm learning this because I'm a perfectionist kind of with my scrapbooking and stuff. Watercolor is not supposed to be perfect. So, yeah, that's kind of fun. Just a little leftover. Much lighter, obviously, but then just put it to the side to dry. Because we're not going to stamp. That's going to be the last thing we do is stamp on them, obviously, so they can dry. And then you want to dry. If you have a bunch of ink on here, spray it with water and dry that off. We don't want our stamps to get stuck on it. And really, that's the first one for the card base. All right, so the next one, so let me move this to the side. We'll, of course, come back to this because we're not done. But then we're going to do, I kind of like this. This is kind of my favorite to do. This is actual watercoloring on it. So we're going to stamp these two images. Don't worry about the sentiment yet. We're going to stamp both the images, and then we're just going to watercolor them. So go ahead and get out your bird stamp that I was so excited to finally use. I'd ordered these a while ago, and I love these birds. You can pick whatever bird you want. I did this one, of course, with the sample, but then the other day when I was practicing, I did this one. And I thought he was kind of cute too. And actually, I would have done the wing another color. But I wouldn't do this one just because he's facing the wrong way of the flower, but that's my personal opinion. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. So I kind of like this little guy. I think I'm going to do him again. You do, I think we've talked about this in the past, but have a scratch piece of paper handy whenever you're using stamps for the first time, and ink them up and just stamp at least one time, maybe a couple of times. You'll get a crisper image once you've kind of practiced with that. This will also be watercolor paper. Yes. Thank you. I don't know why I keep forgetting to mention that. So yes, this will be the watercolor because we're doing quite a bit of water on this paper. So you just take your image, whichever bird you decided after you've practiced on your scrap piece of paper.
You have to use any certain ink?
Not, well, like I always use the Archival. Literally, that's the brand. Let me see. I have it right here. I was always using that, which is great. Archival. But then I found this one. I wanted to try it from Pink Fresh. And as long as it says watercolor friendly, then you know you're good. Because you need to be able to put water against that without it running.
Oh, I'm doing the wrong one. Wait.
And then I kind of tilted them up a little bit. I'm looking up at the flower a little bit. The other thing I would do is go ahead and take two, and this is just because of how I seem to do colors. Take two of your watercolor and do the same thing. Just do it twice. Because if you're like me, you always have extra ink left over. And again, Heather has taught me well that we don't want to waste ink. So that way I can go ahead and color both images. So you don't have to do this, but I just recommend go ahead and do it twice. And then I just spray water on it to clean my stamp. Obviously, make sure it's very dry. Then take the flower, stamp. You can do the little leaf if you prefer that. This is your card. But I liked the flower. Again, make sure you've already inked it up and put it on your scratch paper. Once you've done that, let's see, I kind of like it like that. All right. Okay. And then clean your stamps off. Okay, so I'm probably going to do it like this. All right. So you can do whatever colors you want. I chose to do my little bird blue, and then I put some yellow on his little head and little tail. But you can, and then I did the flower pink and then the green petals. But you can do whatever colors you want. So whatever you want to make him, probably do the little body first. There's no rule though. I think I did. Let me just look. I think I'm going to do the brightest color blue. That's the cool marine. So whatever color you pick for his base, just put on your whatever your non-porous surface is. It's a plate or a tile, or this is a craft mat. Oh, wow. Let me see. Maybe this won't work for me. This is a new. Oh, there we go. Then you just spray a little bit of water. Oh, that's so funny. This is a new mat for me. I was trying to make it non-glare for the camera, so it's a new mat for me. So just spray it with water. Plus, you want to have your little cup. with your paintbrush. And now we're just gonna, it's watercolor. Oh, I'm sorry, that is so funky. Guess I just assumed it would be fine. Okay. Yeah, oh, it's fine. And then you just, with your paintbrush, start painting them in. Now, don't worry about staying in the lines. I actually liked it. I don't know if you can tell. You probably can't tell on camera, but let me see. See how it's out of the lines a little bit of his body? I kind of liked that look. I think it, I don't know. I thought it
Artsy.
looked-
It looks artsy.
yeah, it looks exactly. It's kind of artsy. So, you know, don't worry. And just paint his little body. Oh yeah, I like this darker blue. What am I gonna do? Yeah, I think that's all. Then see, because of course I still have a lot of blue left over, that's why I did a second image. So I'm just gonna paint the second image. So you really don't need much from your mark. Oh, this is kind of funny. Huh. All right. Once you're done with that, make sure, of course, you clean off what's there. Then I like the top of the bird to be yellow. So I'm gonna, yeah, I like that. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of yellow. With some water. Oh, and obviously I have a lot of water, so it's kind of turning into green, which that's okay. It's kind of fun. You can put it a little bit on his nose. Oh, that's kind of cute, actually. Oh. Okay, that's a little too much. Yeah, I didn't rinse my brush enough, I think, so it's a little more green, but that's kind of fun. That's okay. My brother's a birder, so I'll just have to ask him, what kind of bird is this? All right, and then I did the flower to be pink, which I think I'm going to stick with. And I'm going to do the darker pink, I think, this time. So a little bit of, let's spritz that. Oh, I like that bright pink. That's kind of fun. Oh, I really like that purple, that pink. That's a nice bright pink. Green. I kind of did the dark green for the leaves. Oops.
Your dark green is a the sage and moss.
The moss.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's kind of pretty. Once you're done, make sure you clean your brush, rinse it and clean it real good. And obviously clean your mat. And then, oh, here's the other part I always forget. So I liked probably hard to tell on camera, but I just did some edges, a little bit of color on the edges. On the sample, I did pink on the top and blue on the bottom. I don't know why. I probably just had leftover. So I forgot I was supposed to use some of my leftover ink. So I'm going to do, maybe I'm going to do a little bit of purple actually. So I'm going to do some purple. This is just an added little thing. You don't have to do this, but make it very watery. You don't want too much color. Just kind of brush, no rhyme or reason. Kind of brush the edges. So yeah, I like the purple. Ooh, that's a lot of purple. Yeah, if you put too much color, just add some water. I think it makes the black little matting that we're going to use, I think it really makes it stand out. Okay. Oh, I like that.
You can't really do this on like regular paper. It has to be watercolor paper.
With this much water, yes. You can do a little, and you're going to see it next. But with this much water, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very good question, though.
Thank you.
All right. So the next one is this one. This is a neat technique. You can do with markers. You can do with any kind of stamp. So take out your white paper that's not watercolor. So your solid white paper. You can have an extra one handy if you don't like the first version, but I bet you'll be fine. We do not need the paintbrush or anything. All you need is the markers that you're going to use. So take your acrylic block, whatever you have on hand, put the flower stamp. And you could have used this with almost it's easier if your stamp is all filled in. So if it was a solid stamp, this would be easy. But of course, I had to make it a little bit trickier. So we're using an outline stamp. So pick whatever colors that you want for the flowers and the leaves. I pick purple just because you know me, I love purple, but you can do whatever colors you want. And then I did the darker green. So I did these two. The rich floral and the botanical natural. But again, you can do whatever colors you like. This you'll have to do a little bit quick. You don't want the ink to dry too much. So have your two colors handy. Have your spritzer handy. That's all you're going to need. Okay. So this is an example of we're going to put water on this paper that's not watercolor paper, but because it's not tons of water, you're totally fine. So take whatever color that you want for the flowers, and you're going to start coloring them in. Now, you only want to barely brush the top surface. Don't go putting the colors like deep inside. You're literally just coloring the outlines. So I did it to the side. I found it easier. And I just, you want to see the color, but just a lightly brush. Lightly brush over the flowers. Make sure you hit them all, but you don't have to go too crazy. I want to make sure my edges got it. Okay. I said to me the easiest was having the marker tilted on its side. So as soon as you did that, cap your marker, kind of quickly go to your green. Try not to hit the green on the purple. It'll be okay if you do, but don't forget the stems.
Hard to tell if you got purple on it or not.
it is,
For me, anyway, on mine, maybe I'm just doing it wrong, yeah.
whoops.
Oh, I see what I'm doing.
To me, the leaves are a little bit trickier, but it's okay as long as you go over it. And all right, and you don't want to spend too much time so it starts drying, but now you're going to spritz it again, face it the right way. I don't want to get anything wet. This I don't spritz too much, kind of, as long as you see, oh yeah, that might have been too much, but as long as you see it kind of bubble up a little bit, then quickly tilt it and put it down. I don't push too hard. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. If you push too hard, then you kind of smush it. So see, like honestly, even my sample, I think that one was too smushed, but whatever, it's watercolor. But I like this. I think I did better on this one. Now, if you're not happy with the image, then, you know, that's why I have another paper handy. Do it again. You know, just dry it off. Maybe pick a different color or. All right, and then I just dried it, cleaned it, dried it, put it back on because we'll need it for the next, for now putting it on the first card. Oh, and again, I forgot to do the outside. I think I'm going to leave mine not outside this time, but you can, like I did on the sample, I again did the edges. I just felt like it needed some color, but I think I'm going to leave this one without the edges. Okay, so now really all we have to do is start adding our little sentiments and kind of put the cards together. So I put, like I said, I cleaned this stamp, put it back on the block because I'm gonna now do this on our original. So actually, let me just switch this over because everything you always want it to dry as much as you can. So I'm starting back at the first one we had. Where did I put it? Is that this? Oh, that's this. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good and dry. If you don't have time, you could, of course, use a heat gun real carefully on it. But we had plenty of time with the class. So all I'm going to do is ink up my flower.
And you're using the black ink, right?
Yep, back to the black.
Huh.
The other thing probably be pretty, I don't use white ink hardly at all, but I'm going to start to, is you could probably put the white ink over it. And I bet that would look pretty. But I stick with the black, and then the black little matte makes it look good. Oh, that's nice. Okay. I just love this flower stamp. Pretty. So clean it, dry it off. And then you can use whatever sentiment that you like from either stamp set. Oh, that's cute. Okay. That's cute. this one. Now that could say so sorry, right?
Yes, good.
I think I'll do those. All right, so sorry. It's cute.
Oops, didn't ink it.
Whoops. Oh,
I'm gonna do, I'll make that flower one again. I like to.
what did that mean? All right. And of course, whenever you're done with all your sentiments, then you just attach it to the black and then attach it to your card base and you're good to go. Can't wait for you guys to see all the future classes I have in the works.
Oops.
We're going to finally play with gel plates. Which I'm super excited. And then we have some watercolor powder. So we do fun things with this powder, add water, and then color it in several different ways. I have the Pink Fresh stuff coming up that I'd already sent an email about with a couple of stencils and a really fun stamp. What else do I have? I just keep waiting for back orders. That's why I have to keep waiting for that. Ooh, and a fun technique called black illusion. Ooh. Plus a couple others that I'm just beginning to play with. So I do still have 2 kits left of the lighthouse. Let me grab those cards to show you. Where did I put them? Yeah, so I have, let me get this mess out of the way.
That is so pretty.
Yeah, this is really fun. It's making these 2 cards. Once you play with it, then you can just keep making them with all different sayings and
That's
really,
the end
really
of the
neat.
month One,
Say again?
that's the end of the month one?
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's stencil, it's masking, it's stamping, all kinds of fun stuff. This is really good for practicing ink blending. For those of you, including myself, that need to keep practicing. So it's a good one for that. The masking is fun, and first time we're going to use the slim card one. So yeah, this is again really easy. We're only doing 2 because it takes a little while to do both. But you have the stamp stencil set included in the kit, so you can just keep making.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, so here are my 3 cards that we made. So thank you so much for joining us this time, and look
Nice.
forward to seeing you at the next one.